Thank you for joining us right here on Africanews on the morning call. Welcome to the program. Today, June 5, is World Environment Day, the United Nations principal vehicle for encouraging awareness and action for the protection of the environment. And this year, the theme is hanged on beating plastic pollution. Action against plastic waste has most recently been supported across the world, especially since its damaging effects can be clearly seen by all. In many developing countries, plastic bags are causing floods by blocking drains, littering the streets, or they're being even eaten by cattle, prompting calls for more action in the area of waste collection. And this is the challenge we are examining this morning as we discuss waste management in Africa.
Absolutely, Jerry. The latest UN study concludes that plastic waste policies have so far produced mixed results. In Cameroon, for example, plastic bags are banned and households are paid for every kilo of plastic waste they collect, but still plastic bags are being smuggled in. And in Uganda, the municipality of Kampala began a recycling policy that also remunerates eco-citizen participation. However, the municipality's budget has been reduced because taxpayer participation is too low. This is according to a tweet from Andrew Mwenda, a journalist in the country, a few days ago. In short, the fight against plastic pollution and its financing are a reality on the continent.
Andrew Mwenda dans un tweet il y a de cela quelques jours. Bref, la lutte contre la pollution plastique et son financement sont une véritable réalité sur le continent africain. Jerry.
Yes, we have now with us Malik Suka, an environmentalist. He works as the CEO of Aveda, a waste management company in London. Thank you for joining us this morning, Malik. The UN's inaugural Global Waste Management Outlook estimates that around 2 billion people worldwide still lack access to regular waste collection. Do you think that African nations are putting waste management as a top priority, Malik?
The most important, priority for any nation, and if you look at the progress of Africa over the last 20 years, has been a transition from economic hardship to a economic boom that has been happening very slowly. And when people start coming out of an economic cycle, or the other thing, the transition from political conflict and almost physical conflict to a peacetime, it takes some time to realize what the priorities are in every nation. And much like everywhere else in the world, Africa is transitioning through this. And what you'll find is people will start concentrating on certain things. But very quickly after that, they'll realize that waste management is at the very front of any, improvement in the day-to-day life of the nation and the residents. When you look at the damage that not having proper collection can, result, both from a health, from an aesthetic point of view, as much as from an economic point of view.
Malik, as an expert on the environment, what are the consequences of failure to correctly manage waste disposal in the environment?
Well, it starts with epidemics, right? So if you leave, waste on the ground in the street, you're gonna get rodents, you're gonna get pests, you're gonna get flies and insects. The streets will also be dirty and unwalkable. But also you start getting epidemic diseases. So you start getting cholera, you start getting dysentery, you start getting a lot of diseases that are as a result of not having proper sanitation within the streets, and then it leaches into the water supply if left long enough. So there is a massive health effect that you may have if not collected properly and then disposed of properly.
Malik, the mismanagement of waste disposal affects many countries in Africa. So what new ways would you prefer in addressing the issue?
I think these are long-term policies that are placed with a distinct. I mean, as we know, the plastics epidemic right now that's taking on to our oceans is a massive, public outcry on this. And I think we have to start by weaning ourselves a little bit away from plastic and the use of plastic on a daily basis. And you start with the thing that you use the most, which is a plastic water bottle, right? If you use a glass bottle or a recyclable bottle made of metal, then it's definitely going to improve the amount of plastic that goes into the oceans and goes into any treatment system. I think what we have to first do, though, is collect the waste ascertain how much of this type of waste there is, and then we can formulate the policy. The UK policy is coming out of knowledge of the numbers of where they come from. Make sure that it doesn't, and this is where we have to be very careful. Any policy must not tax the consumer, right? And so, you don't want a policy that causes someone to have to buy a $5 bottle instead of a 5-cent bottle, because that makes a very big difference with the poverty level.